Gossip and slander is something that is fairly prevalent in our society today. Whether it's looking at the media or talking with our friends, people seem to want to know what the latest and greatest that's going on with celebrities or anyone for that matter. So I wanted to talk about, from a Catholic sense, what it means to be slanderous and how we can prevent falling into that trap. So, starting in paragraph 2475, it talks about offenses against truth, and it talks about how Christ's disciples have put on the new man, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. So, the different types of being slanderous, like the whole deal is that we want to be respectful of somebody else's reputation. So 2477 says, respect for the reputation of persons forbids every attitude and word likely to cause them unjust injury. He becomes guilty if he's guilty of rash judgment, who even tacitly assumes as true, without sufficient foundation, the moral fault of a neighbor. So say like this Trump book that's coming out saying that he is not faithful to Melania and all these different things. Just making a rash judgment about someone saying, oh, well, I heard this was true about them, so this must be true too. That's rash judgment, and you want to be careful of that. And the second way is through detraction. And this is who, without objectively valid reason, discloses another's faults and failings to persons who did not know them. So I actually encountered this one this week, where I was on a conversation on a post on a meme where I had stated that, you know, my husband and I got married after 3 months, and like how premarital sex is adding to the divorce rate and all these things, and somebody hopped on there that knew me back when I was 18 and making terrible decisions in my life, essentially called me out on one of the worst mistakes that I would say that I think I've ever made, because it was in a public setting and like just very embarrassing. So although it was true, it was still detraction, and although somewhat relevant to what we were talking about, like it still isn't applicable because my husband and I did wait until we were married. So the detraction there ends up being calling up something that was in the past and trying to lose people's respect for me out of just slander. And then the other one is calumny, who by remarks contrary to the truth harms the reputations of others and gives occasion for false judgments concerning them. So this would be if what he had said was actually made up, which it wasn't, and I, was like, yeah, that's true. Like, I'm not perfect. I don't know when I ever claimed to be, even after my conversion. Like, I still screwed up. I was very public about that in my blog. And yeah, so people are gonna do this though. Like, as Catholics, as Christians, we know that this is something that Christ has called us to turn away from, and for us to kind of try to prevent ourselves from doing. So like going further into this, it talks about how even if we comply with this, if we don't like call somebody out on the fact that they are being slanderous, that we are complicit with the sin. So if we hear somebody saying things negatively, like a rule that I typically try to live by is just saying, if this person wasn't present, would I still be talking the way that I am now, or would I still be acting the way that I am? That's how I choose to act in my relationships as well, a good rule of thumb to live by. But essentially, yeah, just allowing us to be gracious towards people and protecting people's reputations, because although, like with me, I didn't come from a great past. Like, I used to not care about other people. I didn't treat people with dignity. I didn't treat myself with dignity. And a lot of that has changed. A lot of that has shifted in my life since I converted. And like, I'm continually working and trying to be a better person. And for somebody who hasn't seen me in 10 years, like, they have no clue who I am. And to bring up something like that, like, if somebody does that to you, I just don't want that to don't let them bring you down, okay? Like, they don't know what they're talking about. You can be a new person through Christ. And like, people may laugh, people may scoff, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're not the one responsible for that. If you've truly turned away from who you've been or anything like that, like, God has control over that. God knows the heart. God judges us all based on our experiences. So just be sure to stay true to yourself and don't allow the naysayers and the haters to kind of get in there. And, I'm still back here today. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I was a terrible person years ago, so I'm not going to post anymore. Like, don't let people do it. I'm not, so you shouldn't either. But thanks for tuning in. I'm getting over this awful cold this week, so I look forward to seeing you guys again next week Sunday, hopefully feeling better, and just God bless you in all of your conversations and interactions in this coming year. Happy Epiphany. We'll talk to you soon.